Welcome back. Ooh. She's wearing white. I don't even have nails on, girl. It's the weekend. Okay. Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today we're gonna do Face the Facts on a Sunday, girl. Shout out to y'all. We're gonna jump right into the tea. But before we do that, Jalen, run the intro, please. Does that intro not make you want to shake your rump? Oh my gosh. Anyway, this first email is called Feeling Stuck. Hey, Bo. I've been subscribed to you since the middle school, and I'm currently 23. I love your videos. Thank you very much. I've been in a relationship for 2 years with a guy who's 44 and has 7 kids. Girl, you better have 7 kids to match that, because if you have no kids, I'm going to drag you. I know this sounds bad. Yes, it does. It sounds very bad. We currently live together due to my circumstances with leaving an abusive household with my narcissistic father during 2020. Okay, baby, maybe I should drop my daddy update video before I drop this one. The abuse between my father and I got worse to the point where the police were called. So long story short, I moved in with my 44-year-old boyfriend. During the course of the relationship, he was very encouraging, sweet, kind, and supportive of everything that I wanted to do with my life and still is. I originally had known that he had 5 kids who visit on the weekends, but a few days in, when I first moved in, he revealed to me that he had 2 more kids from a fling he had before he met me and an ex-girlfriend. Baby, 2 kids don't happen in a fling unless they are twins, okay? What you mean a fling? She's an ex-girlfriend. She's an ex-girlfriend. It's not a fling. Girl, who's confusing you? Are you confusing you or is he confusing you? Because I am confused now. I felt crushed and betrayed because I like kids and I felt like we were on a serious note before I moved in with him. He said that he didn't want to tell me because of what I was going through with my father, and he is also trying to protect himself and his kids because I was still contacting an ex-boyfriend in the beginning of our relationship, which was trifling on my part, I'll admit. Later on, I got over it and forgave him, but now that I'm getting older, I feel like I'm settling. And you are. I'm sorry, but like, if I have no children, I'm not gonna be dating somebody that has 7, lied about 2, even just 5 kids. I'm not doing it, okay? And that's, no shade to anybody that decides that that's what they're gonna do. Maybe you can't have kids, maybe whatever. You have your own reasonings behind it. But in my experience, and also even in just my previous relationship and coming out on the other side with now having children, I wouldn't even try to date somebody that doesn't have kids. I just don't think it's fair to that person. Like, not everybody wants to be a stepmama. And you didn't tell me how old you are. No, you're 23 and you're dealing with a 44-year-old man. Let me tell you something about an age gap, okay? That age gap is crazy. Even if you say, oh, I'm just attracted to older men, or, I just tend to gravitate towards older men, there's something there that needs to be addressed, okay? And because you were leaving an abusive situation with your father, right? You may need to be going to therapy. Not may need to, you need to be going to therapy to handle those things, because jumping into a relationship, or not jumping into a relationship, but going to live with a partner after leaving an abusive situation, whether it be an abusive partner or parent, can sometimes be problematic for the person that needs to do the healing. So that's just food for thought. But the 44-23 age gap is too crazy for me. I'm sorry. Oh my God. And also, a 44-year-old man hiding the other 2 children or lying about the other 2 children and springing it on you after you move in is also manipulation and problematic. Whether you were texting somebody else or not. No, he's using that as an excuse as to why he lied. Like, you lied about your 2 kids, sir. He's a sweet guy, doesn't have baby mama drama coming to the house, and make sure co-parenting is healthy and that his kids are taken care of. Well, that's a good guy. He makes sure I'm comfortable. We go 70-30 on bills. He doesn't force me to be a stepmom because he says his kids already have their own moms, but isn't opposed to me doing little nice things out of the kindness of my heart. He always speaks my love language by buying me flowers, encourages me to have a relationship with God and not to idolize him, which I do sometimes because I love hard, etc. But I honestly want to live more and have friends. I feel like this relationship is all I've known since I began adulthood. Very that. For example, I want to travel with my family, but my boyfriend has a problem with it. isolation, okay? And maybe I'm jumping to an extreme here, but why does he have a problem with you wanting to travel with your family? That doesn't even make any sense. This man is so family oriented, has 7 kids, and doesn't want you to travel with your family. Why? There are so many different levels of the word that we will not use today. There's so many different levels of it. There's covert, there's people that have the tendencies, there's people that are full blown, there's people that aren't it at all, okay? But this is a red flag. He says that he doesn't support people that are in relationships going on trips without their significant others. But when I suggest that he comes with me, he says he doesn't want to because of how majority of my family didn't reach out to me except my mom and sister after I got into it with my dad. No. People like to turn you against your family for whatever reason. Like in your situation, it's saying that the family didn't reach out to you, so now you shouldn't go travel with them. Not everybody is going to reach out. And that's just being an adult, okay? You have a baby, not everybody's gonna tell you congratulations. You get married, not everybody's gonna tell you congratulations. You graduate college, not everybody's gonna tell you congratulations. And that's just what it is. But if you decide that you don't give a damn and you wanna go on vacation with these people, then you go on vacation. That has nothing to do with your dad or whatever situation that you and your dad were in. Now, if it's a situation where your dad's gonna be on the trip, that's completely different, and I totally get where your boyfriend would be coming from. But if your daddy's not going to be on the trip, I don't understand why he's making it a big deal that you going traveling with them, and he's grudging your family and you're not grudging your family. No. I understand, but I'm not the type to hold grudges. See? Every time my mom asks me why I'm not going, I lie and I say that I have work. I'm just feeling like I'm stuck. I want more out of life, and I really do love him, but I've made so many sacrifices living here. I always originally wanted kids with someone who didn't have any, and to be with a guy my age so that we could grow together. One day I'm okay, and the next day I'm thinking of what if. I'm just confused, Bo, and I need some advice. I think you need to let go of the relationship. And if it comes back to you, it comes back to you. But I think you need to go and live your best life without your 44-year-old boyfriend and live how you should live, okay? Because, like, whether they're 44 or even your age, sometimes you're not with an older guy and you still end up doing old people things, okay? Like, I feel like I wasted my 20s. I really did. Like, I was with somebody for so long. I could have been having so much more fun, but I was really on an island, you know? And I'm an introvert, so I didn't really mind it. But when I look back and I realize the SHIT storm that it's been, I'm completely an advocate for women not dating so early on. Like, you're 23. You have, like, I would give myself at least another 3 years before I tie myself down to somebody. So wait till you're like 26, you know, and if he's still around, he's still around. Or if he's moved on, he's moved on. But you're going to be moving on too. You're 26. There's so many people out there. And I'm not saying like, wake up tomorrow, break up with your man. But if you're feeling stuck, it's for a reason. Don't ignore the red flags, baby. Don't be like me, baby. I was ignoring all kinds of red flags. Don't do that, okay? We don't have time to ignore red flags, red sirens, red velvet cake. Baby, nothing. No red flags will be ignored around these parts come 2023. But start today. Don't ignore that feeling in the pit of your stomach. Stuck is serious. I felt stuck, okay, for a long time. And I'm brushing it off. I'm praying about it. I'm brushing it off. I'm doing all kinds except for getting unstuck. It took me long to get unstuck. And even now I still feel stuck. But that's because I have 3 little ones that are kind of, you know, keep me in a certain place where that's concerned. But like, it's not a good feeling to feel stuck or to feel like you're settling. So I would highly suggest you do something about that, ma'am. So this one I would love to respond to because it's titled, Am I a Bad Mother? I was in a relationship for 3 years with my daughter's father, who also happens to be a narcissist. His true colors didn't come out until I was pregnant with my daughter. During that time, there was a lot of gaslighting and manipulation by him and his mother to the point where I'm constantly questioning my own sanity. Welcome to the club, sis. Welcome to the club, girl. I got pregnant in February of 2021. The joy lasted for about 2 weeks tops. During my first trimester, I told him I wanted an abortion because I felt like things were already a mess and I didn't feel like it was a good idea to bring a baby into it. Oh God, this is giving me a Nola, baby. Whew. He threatened to break up with me if I did, and at the time, I still wanted to be with him, so I proceeded with the pregnancy. Wow, okay. I don't have anything to say. I'm not going to say anything because these men are tired. They really are. Throughout the rest of my pregnancy, he treated me like a burden and constantly called me lazy and accused me of using my pregnancy for sympathy. Oh, God. Maybe I shouldn't read this email. One instance, he screamed at me and told me he didn't give a about the fact that I was pregnant when I asked him to cook dinner because I was sick. I also unpacked the house we had just moved into completely alone, which is basically how I felt my entire pregnancy. Fast forward to 5 months in, we said we were taking a break, but since we lived together, we essentially were still together. We also agreed to not date other people to keep the peace. He also told me if I wasn't having sex with him, there was no point of me being there. Ma'am. The final straw came when I was 8 months pregnant and overheard him on the phone having a sexual conversation with one of his old flings. Y'all love this word tonight, honey. Fling, baby. When I confronted him, he said it was my fault. Oh my God. And he only wasn't talking to her because we were together. And we're not together anymore. Wow. I booked a flight the same day and moved back home to California. Once I left, all hell broke loose. He tried to force me to sign a contract giving him 50-50 custody. I refused because I didn't understand what I was signing. He continued to harass me. Where'd he get this contract from? Hold on. He continued to harass me all the way up until when I was in the hospital bed about to have a C-section. He has come to see my daughter twice, once the day after she was born, and again on March 5th, 2022. So she was born on November 24th, 2021. Okay. Since then, he pretty much ghosted me. Well, count your many blessings, ma'am. Oh my God. I realized the communication was non-existent and I was the only person putting forth any effort, so I decided to take a step back, which then caused all communication to cease. He texts me once a month saying he wants to be a father, but I'm not allowing him to be. Oh my God. He also states because I didn't want to FaceTime when my daughter was 3 months old, that's why he can't be a father. Girl, wait, the baby is can't even sit up. Oh my gosh. I told him he needs to be more consistent in his visits and inquire about his children in order to be considered a father. Then he leaves me on red every time. Oh, the stonewalling bit. Get a new gig, narcs. Like, get a new gig. We're tired. We're over it. The stonewalling is just it's not going to be a thing anymore, okay? It's been 7 months since he's seen my daughter, who is now 10 months. He knows absolutely nothing about her and doesn't ask. I find peace in his absence because every time we talk, it's an argument or he's verbally abusive. He said, I think I'm high and mighty because I have my daughter when I'm literally trying to make the best life after I was manipulated into keeping a baby I didn't want to bring into toxicity. I don't ask him for anything and he doesn't help with anything. I'm literally doing everything by myself. He petitioned the court for custody because I asked him to be more consistent in order to have unsupervised visits because my daughter doesn't know who he is. Never unsupervised visits. No. Absolutely not. Do your research. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I responded to his custody order asking for visitation until he shows consistency for 5 visits before they're unsupervised. They should never be unsupervised if you're having this kind of issues now and he's not even been around. Never unsupervised. You need to Google Kiara's law, okay? There's a bill that was passed because of this little girl that was getting unsupervised visits with her parent. And she's no longer with us, so rest in peace to her. My question is, am I wrong? He paints me as a bad guy, and I can't tell what's true and what's not. When it comes to being a single mom, I feel like people always try to paint the mother as keeping the father away. I think I'm gonna cry. We don't have time for that today, I'm sorry. He has been absent my daughter's entire life, essentially, and I'm trying to set boundaries, as you should, Mom. As you should. There are more details I didn't mention, but I feel like it's too long. Basically, I'm asking if I'm being the bad mother I'm being painted as. No. Any mom that's advocating for her children, and not only her children, but her children's safety, is a good damn mom. Okay? And I agree with you 100% that typically that's what's done. They try to paint you as the bad guy when chances are you're not in a single mom by choice. And pay for everything by yourself by choice. Like, what? Which is, I don't know what is wrong with the court system. I really don't. But they don't care about women who have been abused. They don't care about any of that. So your job as mom, as mama bear, is to protect your baby. And you're going to do it the best way you know how. But I don't think you're being a bad guy at all by, one, asking for consistency. What's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. And I completely understand everything that you stated in this email because same. Like, consistency is so important when it comes to children. Like, it should actually be the top priority of any parent, okay? Whether it's you or your partner or ex-partner, whoever. The kids should always just be at the top of the list. And since your daughter is at the top of the list, you're doing everything that you need to do. Don't feel bad for being a good mom. And don't make them make you think that you're doing something wrong by asking for the bare minimum, which is consistency and safety for your kid. How could you send your daughter, who you said is 10 months, 11 months, with her other parent that you really don't know what his MO is at this point, because told him you didn't want to have the baby. He threatened to break up with you. So then you stayed, you had the baby, and then more problems came through during the pregnancy and after the pregnancy. I would be scared to leave the child with the parent as well. So he's playing from every narcissistic playbook there is, especially the whole going to the court thing. And I bet he's representing himself as well. And then it causes, and because after you leave abuse, your brain fog is like to the 10th power. And what the person that's abusive will do is go to the court and do all these things. And while you're trying to get your mind back, you're then also having to advocate and fight for your kid at the same time. And a lot of the times what happens is the parent that is abusive convinces the court that the mother is unfit, or says that she's on drugs, or says that she does this or she does that. And then they get custody of that child, and then whatever happens after that is who knows, but like, you have to be real smart, and like, you cannot play into their hand, and you cannot show any type of weakness when you are faced with those things, because it will be used against you for sure. And so I feel for you, but you're not a bad mom. You're not. Okay, I'm telling you, mom to mom. Okay, you're not a bad mom. Taking new mom and dad application. Anonymous, please. Hey, Bo, I want to thank you for taking the time to read this. I've been watching since 2017, 2018. Well, I will try to make this as short as possible. Girl, the email is very long, okay? Backstory, growing up, I always lived with my mom and visited my dad on the weekends. Eventually, I stopped visiting him when I was around 13 because he is narcissistic and emotionally unavailable / damaging. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I chose to not go to my dad's house as well. At 15, I had to move in with my dad because my mom wanted to move to her home state with her boyfriend in New York, and I live in Las Vegas. Why do mothers do this? I can't. In this time, I absolutely hated where I was because I did not want to be around my dad. I felt so depressed. There was never a bond, and there was too much childhood trauma to see him as a father. At 16, I began to start working while in school, and the financial support from both parents slowly faded away. Fast forward to when I'm 17, almost 18, senior year, about to graduate, my mom returned to Vegas and got an apartment with my sister. I wasn't really talking with my mom because I had so much resentment towards her, because, girl, why would you leave me with this man for a boyfriend? And just to not end up with him in the end. Like, that's what I don't understand. Never that for my kids, ever, okay? Ever. I don't care if it's Bill Damn Gates, ever. I'm never leaving my kids for some man. Girl, get it together, mother. Get it together. But I kept my feelings to myself and got past it since I knew I was finishing school soon and wanted to move in with my mom to get away from my dad. My mom told me that I will need to pay a portion of the bills if I'm living there. I only had to worry about my phone bill when I stayed with my dad, so I thought I can just save up until I can afford to stay with her. Until a week after graduating, 18 now, and my dad and I got into an argument again, so he kicked me out to make himself feel better. I was disrespectful for coming home late from work. Girl. Not work. No. Cancel it. Cancel the dad. Cancel him. Now I had no other choice but to move to my mom's unprepared. I had just started working full time, so some bills I couldn't cover for entirely because I had non-sufficient funds, which made my mom upset. I eventually got a better job at 19 and started to get myself together, and my mom started having me pay more. My relationship with my mom from age 18 to 20 was very up and down. She would say that we're roommates and the relationship between us is strictly business and you're not on the lease or obligated to it. You can move out if you don't want to be here. After a petty disagreement, until she wants to use my car, mind you. Oh God, cancel both parents. I cancel my subscription to these crappy parents. Okay, I cancel it. In Jesus' name. Get it together, parents. Oh my God. P.S. Do y'all remember this hat? My Finn hat? Anyway. It's always, you're an adult when it came to paying bills, but threw a fit when it came to making my own decisions to hang out with my friends or go out of town. But she was right. I was not obligated to the lease, but why is she at 50 years old holding it over my head every argument? Because she's trash, okay? Anyways, I felt like I was too nice because she was still using my car freely, so I asked her if she can help pay my car insurance. Girl, now you knew. Girl, you knew that was not gonna go over well, but let me see what happened. She said yes, but eventually flipped it and said if she's paying towards the car insurance, then I will have to reimburse her for health insurance since I, her offspring, added on the cost of insurance that I was on until age 19. I'm confused because isn't that the bare minimum? Why would I owe her for being on her insurance? I couldn't believe that's what I was hearing, so I stopped asking about the car insurance. It's now 2022. The lease that I'm not obligated to was ending in April. I got approved for my apartment and chose to move at the end of March. I no longer could stand my mom and her presence. She was constantly negative if something didn't go her way. Where is your sister? I thought she was going to live with your sister. I told her I was going to be leaving and she told me that I was wrong for moving a month before the lease ended and I still had to help pay the final rent even though I won't be there. Did you say delulu as in delusional? Cause yes, very that. Why tell me to move out if I didn't want to be here for 2 years just to be mad when I actually leave? Cause people be talking out the side of their neck, they be saying it and they don't be meaning it. Baby, when I tell you to go, I mean go, baby. So I'm not gonna... Girl, she should have been prepared, right? It's not like I told her last minute. What does that final rent have to do with me if I'm not obligated to the lease, right? This was escalating and now she starts being verbally abusive and threatening my life, calling me out of my name, belittling me about the fact that I was groomed when I was 14. She was telling on herself because she never took it to the law. She must have realized how stupid she sounded because the next thing you know, she is telling me to pack my stuff and go. I told her I'm already on my way out at the end of the month. Still not getting her way, she assaults me and I fought back even though I did not want to fight. I ended up leaving that same night to my friend until I moved to my apartment. She said sorry, but it didn't feel that genuine to me. I haven't talked to her for months while she continued to text me on some BS. I never bothered because texting her is a waste of time. She would avoid answering my questions and wouldn't comprehend what I say and resorts to being disrespectful when she starts feeling like she's losing the argument. It's hard not being on good terms with either parent, but this is what will have to be if it means I'm protecting my peace. Very that. I honestly don't know right now if I want her in my life again. I've already concluded that I will never make my future children pay my bills when they're older. They will not be my roommates and I'll never tell them our relationship doesn't exist unless it's business. They don't owe me period. Okay? It has affected my relationship with my mom heavily and she doesn't care if we never speak again. So my question is, and you shouldn't either. Okay? Take it for what it is, baby. You shouldn't either. Which, it's easier said than done. Okay? But sometimes that's just the way life goes. Am I wrong for wanting to leave a month before the lease ended? No, because your mom was constantly saying, you can go and this, that, and the third, go, okay? There should be no issue there. She been telling you to go, but she didn't really mean it. Well, if you didn't mean it, then why were you saying it? Am I wrong for resenting my mom at the time for leaving me with my dad to be with her? No. Absolutely not. I think now that you acknowledge the resentment, you go to therapy and you deal with it there, okay? Don't hold on to the resentment any further, any longer than you already have. But you're not wrong because coming from a mother's perspective, I just told you at the beginning of this, I would never do that to my kids ever, 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 ever. It's wrong, okay? We just watched Jalen's video the other day. His mom was doing essentially the same thing. They let a man come into the picture and all of a sudden the sense goes out their head. That doesn't make no damn sense. No. And then you're not even with the man at the end of it. Like, that's what I don't get. I will never respect any mom that does that. What should I have done differently? I don't think you did anything wrong. I really don't. You didn't do anything wrong. Your mom was wrong. The whole entire situation, your mom was wrong. I can't even believe things that she was saying, like calling you a roommate and all those things. Like, I could never imagine, even my mom lived with me. I could never call this lady a roommate. What? Oh my God. How do you feel about parents making their kids pay literal rent? I don't like it. And I won't do it to my kids because I don't think it's cool. Now, granted, when I was younger, you know, I throw my mom a bone because it wasn't just me there. It was me and my ex. Okay, so that was after the fact though. That was after I think I got the airplane job. Then we moved back in and we were paying half of the rent because it was 2 adults. But if I was there by myself, I wouldn't have been paying nothing. Okay, so that's only because the boyfriend was there. If my boyfriend's not there, baby, I'm not paying. And that's on what? Jesus, Devontae Christ. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video because I'm actually out of time. These memory cards are full. I love you all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.